Welcome to Elderly Care, a gentle and thoughtful space where we share meaningful insights to help you live with peace and strength in your golden years. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our heartfelt videos created especially for seniors. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with friends and loved ones so they too can benefit from the value it brings. Today, we're diving into a deeply important topic: 8 things you should never share with anyone after 65. Not to encourage distance, but to help you protect your peace, your privacy, and your dignity. There comes a quiet wisdom with age, an inner voice that no longer shouts, but gently nudges. After the age of 65, that voice becomes a compass, guiding us through the layered intricacies of relationships, boundaries, and self-preservation. If you've crossed this milestone, you may have already noticed that the world doesn't stop to ask how you feel anymore. People assume you've figured it all out. But the truth is, growing older isn't about having all the answers. It's about protecting what truly matters: your peace, your privacy, and your well-being. It took Helen nearly 70 years to understand this. A soft-spoken retired teacher, Helen had always been an open book. Her life, her thoughts, her worries, her bank balance, her family tensions was shared freely with neighbors, church friends, even the occasional stranger at the post office. She thought that openness meant connection, and perhaps in her younger days it did. But as time passed, she began to feel something strange. The more she shared, the more drained she became. Friends began offering unsolicited advice. Gossip spread through the community. She was being asked to justify choices that weren't anyone's business. That's when Helen decided it was time to rewrite the rules. This isn't a story about shutting yourself off. It's about drawing healthy lines that don't isolate but insulate. As we age, what we protect becomes more valuable than what we give away. Not everything is meant to be discussed, even with those we trust. Some things are better kept to ourselves, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. So what are those things we should keep private after 65? These are not secrets out of shame, but boundaries out of love for ourselves. Let's walk through them one by one, not as a checklist, but as a reflection on what it means to live with dignity and quiet strength in the later chapters of life. Number 1. The first is your financial status. After 65, money becomes more than just a number in a bank account. It represents security, independence, and the freedom to make your own choices. Sharing too much about your savings, retirement plans, or inheritance can invite pressure, manipulation, or even unintentional dependency from family or acquaintances. One widow in Florida shared how discussing her modest pension with a friend led to constant requests for small loans that strained the friendship and left her anxious. When it comes to your finances, you owe Norman an explanation beyond what you feel is safe and necessary. A certified financial planner once said, "Transparency is good in partnerships, but in friendships, especially past retirement, discretion protects peace." Number 2. Secondly, your health condition are deeply personal. While it's natural to speak about health with doctors and trusted loved ones, there is a line between sharing for support and oversharing in ways that invite worry, gossip, or even judgment. One man in his late 60s who had been recently diagnosed with early-stage Parkinson's regretted telling his social circle too early. He noticed subtle changes: People stopped inviting him to volunteer events, assuming he wouldn't have the energy. He didn't need pity. He needed normalcy. Your health is part of your identity, but it doesn't define you. Choose carefully who you tell and how much detail you share. Number 3. The third is your family issues and disputes. Every family has its knots: estranged children, sibling tensions, financial disagreements. While venting may provide momentary relief, discussing these matters too freely can lead to judgment, unsolicited advice, or misinterpretations that make matters worse. After 65, your emotional energy is precious. A grandmother shared her experience after confiding in a friend about her daughter's divorce. Her words were twisted and found their way back to her daughter, harming their relationship. Sometimes, the best support is found not in disclosure, but in quiet prayer, reflection, or speaking to a professional counselor who is trained to listen without judgment. Number 4. The fourth is your past regrets or mistakes. Many older adults carry emotional luggage, things they wish they had done differently. But after a certain age, the goal is no longer to explain the past to others, but to make peace with it yourself. Sharing too much about past choices, failed marriages, or missed opportunities can sometimes reopen wounds or invite unnecessary commentary. A retired pastor once said, "We are not our worst decisions, we are our present grace." Let your life now be shaped by what you choose today, not by what you disclose about yesterday. Number 5, the fifth, is your future plans regarding your estate, will, or personal wishes, until you are ready. While it's wise to have those plans in place and important to share them, eventually with a trusted legal advisor or designated executor, sharing them casually or prematurely with a family or friends can create conflict, suspicion, or unspoken expectations. One woman in her early 70s told her nephew he would inherit her house one day. That simple statement led to entitlement, lack of gratitude, and tension within the family. Make your legal wishes clear and official, but don't feel obliged to discuss the details with everyone. Protect your peace by keeping future decisions private until the time is right. Number 6. The sixth is your personal beliefs and values, especially when you know they may not be shared. This doesn't mean hiding who you are, but being wise about when and how you speak. In a polarized world, it's easy for heartfelt opinions to become battlegrounds. A man in his late 60s who held strong spiritual beliefs shared how a simple comment about morality turned into a family feud over dinner. He didn't regret his belief, but he regretted offering it without the awareness that not every setting welcomes it. After 65, your peace is not up for debate. Sometimes silence speaks louder than certainty. Let your values show through your actions rather than your arguments. Number 7. The seventh is your romantic life or personal relationships. Yes, love after 65 is real, beautiful, and deeply meaningful, but not everyone will understand it. Whether it's a late life partner, a new friendship, or even a reconnection with an old flame, keep it sacred. One widow who found love again at 70 said the happiest part of her relationship was how private it remained. She avoided commentary, comparison, or unsolicited questions from friends or family. It was her joy, and she didn't need the world to validate it. When it comes to matters of the heart, especially in older age, cherish it quietly. Protect what brings you light. Number 8. Lastly, your personal routines and spiritual practices What gives you strength day to day don't need to be shared or explained. Whether it's your morning meditation, your walks at dawn, your choice to live simply, or your silence during meals. These rituals become part of your peace. After 65, you no longer owe the world explanations for what helps you stay centered. A man who lived alone in the countryside shared how he would spend every evening watching the sunset in silence. It was his way of reconnecting. When a neighbor questioned why he didn't come to weekly social nights, he simply smiled and said, "I already have a standing date with the sky." That kind of contentment doesn't need applause. Each of these 8 things is a thread in the fabric of your autonomy. In a world that often wants access to every detail of our lives, withholding is not secrecy. It's self-respect. The older we grow, the more we begin to understand that not everything needs to be shared to be real, or valid, or meaningful. Your peace is not a product of how much you disclose, but how much you choose to protect. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a truth that's both tender and empowering. You are allowed to guard your story. You're allowed to keep parts of your journey tucked away. You are allowed to build quiet walls, not to keep others out, but to keep yourself safe within. Helen, that soft-spoken teacher, eventually learned this. She began answering questions with a smile rather than a full explanation. She learned the power of the phrase, "That's just something I keep to myself." And in doing so, she found something unexpected. Not distance from others, but a newfound closeness with herself. Her relationships became simpler, more respectful. Her days grew quieter, but not lonelier. Her mind, once filled with the chatter of others' opinions, became a sanctuary of her own voice. If you're over 65, perhaps it's time to revisit your own boundaries. What have you been sharing out of habit, not intention? Where have you let your peace be pierced by the expectations of others? And more importantly, what are you willing to protect? Not from fear, but from wisdom. Let today be a quiet turning point. You do not have to retreat from the world, but you can choose how much of yourself you give to it. Let your privacy be your sanctuary, your boundaries, your peace, and your well-being your compass. In this season of life, less truly becomes more, not in material things, but in what we choose to carry, to speak, and to share. Because your story matters, and so does your silence.